Yeah, what's interesting too, when you look at the quarterfinal matchups, in every heat you've got someone who's gone on to win a CT event and someone who's still searching for their first CT victory. We've still got a couple of former Bells champs in the mix. One of them's up at the moment in a replay. Filipe Toledo up against Jackson Baker. And, well, just throwing everything at that final section. Jackson Baker, he'll want to put some pressure on Toledo early here, but I mean, it's going to have to be a complete performance. Some movement on the outside here. Toledo deep. And a big section standing up, and just absolute fireworks as he explodes through that first section. And now just building for a clean finish down the line. Already on his way to a solid score, you'd think. And have a look as he just builds speed out of absolutely nothing there. Can't hang on to the finish though. That's going to cost him a bit.
And we can see here on this first ride, so straight off the bottom, and it was a fluffy little lip on it, and he almost carved through it somehow. And again, coming back to the quad, it adds that little bit of grip, Ron, when they're going through these maneuvers. It's an extra bit of surface area that you're pushing off. And unfortunately, geez, he travelled some distance on there. Maybe covering about 6 or 7 feet in the air. And again, really inverted, but that back foot, you saw it slide up the nose of the board. Normally, Filipe would keep that back foot.
He's still got that fast twitch magic about his surfing. And he dropped a 4 on that last ride. Jackson Baker doesn't want to lose touch with him early.
You know, he is very reserved on land, and, you know, that's just him.
Jackson Baker at the moment, loading up. He's done a lot of time down here at Bells Beach surfing junior events, so he knows both Winky and the bowl really well. Outside, Toledo staying busy. So he was just millimetres away from riding out of what would have been a strong score on his last ride. He just hasn't had the finishes just yet, but he's going to make sure he gets it on this one, and that should be his best wave.
That first turn was absolutely incredible given the size of the wave. But let's have a look. This turn is just incredible. Filipe projecting down the line. Watch the acceleration and wrap. That is just, I'm not sure how many surfers on the tour can actually do that sort of a turn on that size wave. Incredible stuff. You know, this is a waist-high wave, and Filipe just drives through this whole thing, putting so much power between the surfer and surfboard, wraps it all the way around.
He looks to get himself a decent number, and he's going to throw some aerial antics our way.
Sick, love it.
He doesn't need a whole lot, Matt McGilvray, to turn this one, but let's have a look at the replay of Jackson Baker's last ride.
Yeah, Jacko gets a nice little foam climb there, sets up this final section, driving, pumping down the line. The stance goes a little wider and gets his own version of a 180 rotation here off the lip. You can see the front foot moves right up the nose of the board. And Jacko.
More waves on the way here. Joe Turpel with Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew for the call as we look at the snap from Toledo. Floats it quickly. Setting up the lip again, a nice little gouge in the pocket. Inside double up, big fin throw with this whole team the last few days as we watch Toledo again.
Yeah, Toledo, this is the wave that really set him apart here, Joe. Look at the power down the line. He's making the most of every section. Gets over that double up section. Another big boost. And no air game, but an 8-point ride just on solid surfing. And that last move just releases the tail, gets the board above the lip line, just lands it so clean.
Well, the youngest ever to get called up for that big event. And he had a classic step up that he rode that day as we look at Filipe up and out. Toledo just locked in an 8-point ride on that last wave.
Toledo, it was Medina, it was Kolohe, and they were sticking 90% of their airs.
I remember that final that you're speaking of. Big speed float from Jackson Baker, and he will just lose some open face. He'll get out of there.
He's capable of a big number, but he's going to have to be on a bomb.
This is Jackson Baker, the Novocastrian. Wrapping cutback to kick it off. It's going to stay full and flat on the inside. Baker still chasing an 8.4. Now check out the powerful act of Jackson Baker. Moving quickly, trying to generate some speed. Blows the tail out. As we take another look here, Bugs, Jackson in his first CT quarterfinal.
Yeah, look, he's really stepped on the gas here. He knows he's got to just eke everything out of this. Every decimal point will count. And not the biggest way.
Started that reputation pretty early, especially going back to 2015 when he took over Snapper Rocks. Here comes Toledo live, really pushing hard on that opening hook. Big wrap in the pocket. He's got a nice little track to float. Setting up a finish, a rad little carve to mix up the float. Gosh, you gotta love the Brazilian Storm. Pupo had to withdraw from this event, but there's no place he'd rather be.
Nominal celebration, and Jacko, what a character.
What do you see here, Bugs?
Yeah, well, I mean, Toledo, this is another, slick ride by the defending champion. And, I mean, if it's this size, look at that last slashing. They're a really tight outfit. They're always, rooting for each other. The support crew is unbelievable, even when they bomb out. Here's a bigger wave for Jacko.
Important one. Baker gets some speed. Connects well with the first whitewater section. A big blast off the lip. Winds up to shut it down, and Jackson can't help but celebrate.
Pretty stoked with that.
I mean, the guy has got so many moves in smallish ways. He's nearly impossible to beat. He's a bigger wave for Jacko, though. It's a bit of a frothy wave, but his last turn here, power. And he celebrates. Yes, he wants it. And this last move is where the big points are going to be for this one, Joe.
That was radical. It had a drift. We remember back to the finishing move for Toledo. And the size of his finish, I think Jackson's was bigger. More of a section to work with, maybe more speed, more fluid, and that is why he's letting it all hang out. I think everybody heard him all the way across this. If Filipe's 6'5", Jackson's looking for an 8.6, and he put up a fair effort to maybe achieve that. We'll see what the judges think. Couple of nice wraps. Toledo pushing hard through his points. There's that classic nose pick reverse, just to show his variety. Coming off of the carves, and we've run out of time. The defending world champ frustrated even in the win with the numbers coming his way. And Baker, what an effort. A tough loss there after dropping that big 9-point ride.